to have our brother Miguel Lawn in the studio with me. He is a rebel lawyer, also owner of Head Start Bookstore and Publishings. He's also a radio presenter on Best FM, which goes out every Wednesday between 6 and 10 p.m. EST time. You know, we've got our brother here because he's there in Jamaica, where we've seen a mixed response to the royals' visit, to the visit of Prince William and Kate, the Duchess of Cambridge.
Show the disgrace that our government could invite the descendants of those who carried out such atrocious actions against us.
We're all fully aware of the reigning Queen's historic links to the most evil and wickedest inhumane treatment of Africans. Hundreds of millions of Africans were victims of their so-called transatlantic slave trade. And to date, there's been no apology, there's been no discussions of reparations. So this royals visit seems to have, you know, poured salt on some already open wounds.
Why did you decide to promote and support the protest today?
Because I represent for the free Jamaicans that was here before any slave ship or any colonizers come up. We are the first Jamaicans that were there, the first inhabitants of this land here. That is why me out here to tell the Queen as she come off of the throne and say, go on and not look back.
Why did you think it was important that the protest here be held today?
It's important because this lady sit down on a throne for 70 years and she's about to celebrate that 70 years by stepping down and giving it to our grandchildren and our peers. While we are still in the very slavery that she came on the throne while that slavery was still in existence. She lived 70 years on that throne while that slavery is still in existence. Jamaicans are still dealt with as slaves. So we are saying, if it is that you don't come here to tell us that you really, really feel a way about what you guys did to us as a people and it's still doing to us, then it would not be significant for any of them to be here today if we love our young people.
What are your thoughts on reparations?
I mean, reparation is a must, you know, because if you find out that you've been used and abused and been dealt with the way we have been dealt with as a people, many other nations have fought and have gotten their reparations. So it's only fitting for black people to get their reparation. Yeah, and after we get the reparation, we get everything else for them take from we too.
So let's go over to our brother Miguel in Jamaica and get his take on the royals' visit.
First, we want to say give thanks to be communicating with you, my sister, and to our brothers and sisters across different places, different spaces, and so on. And it's always a particular endearment to be communicating with my brothers and sisters in Africa. The government of Jamaica invited these two persons in celebrating the Elizabeth being on her throne for 70 years. And we here, many of us in Jamaica, see this as a slap in the face for the warrior thinkers. Majority of the people in Jamaica at this time want to get rid of the Queen of England as the titular head of state of Jamaica. And in that mold now, for you to be celebrating 70 years of her, and 70 years, which is just a continuation of her family's exploitation of the African people, of Black people, and so on. So we feel particularly aggrieved, many of us, and felt it our duty to demonstrate against William and his wife coming here. What he has come with is the usual talk which we have heard many times before. slavery was wrong, slavery was abhorrent, slavery should not have taken place. That's what that's the message William has come with.
Okay.
He has been definitely advised not to apologize. He skirt around the word apology. And he certainly did not come to discuss reparations or the unpaid wages that is due to our people, who many were working from they were 5 years old, from sunrise past sunset. The unpaid wages has to be paid. And then we will come to the other aspects of reparatory justice. So he didn't come prepared for that at all. And that's the language we wanted to speak. If not to him, certainly to any advisors that he may have brought with him. Because we are demanding. It's not something we're asking for. It's not something we are requesting. We are demanding that, for example, one, all the debts that you claim that the Caribbean people owe to England, America, France, and the EU, all those debts must be canceled. Those were immoral debts. Those were debts imposed upon us. Those were debts that were taken by leaders who were part of the sellout. Many of those debts went into personal pockets. They did not go to the people's benefit for schools, hospitals, houses, better water conditions, and so on. Many, it was promised, but they never implemented it. So that is why those debts, which were like personal debts, personal loans to the leadership that we have then and now, and we are demanding that those debts be canceled. We're further demanding that I'm not one of those who just settle and say apology. No, apology just ain't cut it. What we want is serious discussions, serious calculations, because you can work out. I have seen books in places like St. Kitts and Nevis, where I've been to. When I go to these places, I go to the museums, books in St. Lucia, books in Antigua, where they worked out the compensation that was to be given to the enslaved owners of plantations when the enslavement was abolished. You see where they calculate the price of a girl, the price of a mother, the price of a young worker, details, absolute details, handwritten. So the same way you could work out that calculation to the enslaved murderers, you can work out the calculation now to the enslaved people who received no compensation all those years and further did not receive any when the actions of the enslavement were abolished. We are saying that these things can be worked out. In law, we can work out when a man gets licked down by a car, you can work out what damages is due to him based on his status, based on his earnings, based on how much he would earn. So therefore his loss of income, his loss of use and all of that. You can work out these damages, you can work out these compensation. So it is not as hard as they have made it over the years to say that it's going to take time, it's going to take this, and it's going to take that. Those things are excuses that we no longer will accept. And Britain, of all countries, Britain knows of reparations because Britain paid to the Ngatau people. This is a set of Maori people in New Zealand, the original people of New Zealand. Britain paid to the Ngatau people more than 160 million pounds in compensation plus interest. Britain also gave them an apology. Britain also admitted that they deliberately destroyed their ancestral lands where many of their elders were buried. So it wasn't just an apology for certain things. You apologized because you went and destroyed their ancestral roots. Britain admitted to that. It's a thorough document, which the lawyers on behalf of the Ngatau people were able to get out of England. And they admitted to the destruction that they deliberately carried out against the Ngatau people of New Zealand. So they have precedent in their files and archives. And of course, the atrocities done to I was far greater than what was done to the people of New Zealand. Not that I'm comparing as such, you know, but just in terms of Britain knowing that they have to, not maybe, they must sit down and talk with us and to discuss the issue of reparations. As Rastafarians, we go even a step further. We are also demanding repatriation. Repatriation is a part of reparations. Repatriation means you took us against our will. You took us in a most ignoble and disrespectful manner from our homeland, Africa, brought us over here, and then subject us to some of the worst brutalization that any people encountered in history. We are demanding that the facilities be made available, not just to transport brothers and sisters back to Africa, but to help us to resettle in Africa, because you completely destroyed the roots of our existence when you took us out of Africa. So the language that has to be spoken, the level of thinking that must go into something like this is vast. And you can't come on your like a 3-day visit, going into some schools and going some places as if you are looking down on the suffering of the people and you're enjoying it. We blood fire that. Unfortunately, some of our own Rastafari brethren, not thinking like us, went down to Trenchtown and entertained them. And we were very displeased at that, because in effect, you are talking about some of us must learn to forgive. That is the language. I'm not into this turn the other cheek business. I'm not into that. And many of I and I are not into that. Because we have seen where you come upon people where if them box you and you turn the other cheek, they are going to box you again and demand that you turn back the first cheek to take a next box. We believe that when them box you, you must give them back 2 boxes. Then they will understand the language we speak. And we make no pretense about that. The children, because the education system here is so bad, very bad, it's colonial, it's backward. So many of our people don't realize that when you engage the children of the pirates, the children of the murderers, you are continuing the murdering of our people. They don't realize, because our schools doesn't teach. Our school doesn't teach Shikanta Diop. Our school doesn't teach Ngugi Wathiango. Our school doesn't teach Frantz Fanon. Our schools doesn't even teach Marcus Garvey. They don't teach the philosophy and opinions of Marcus Garvey in our schools in Jamaica. So our children are not aware. It's only radio programs like mine and other brothers and sisters that bring up and teach these things and talk about the kingdoms of Songhai, the kingdoms of Mali, the kingdoms of Ghana, the kingdoms of Ethiopia, the kingdoms of Mona Patata, the great kingdoms of Central Africa. You see what I mean? If we were teaching these things in schools and in churches, then our people would not go welcoming. William and Kate and the house of murderers. But they don't teach these things. They try to say, we must be good Christians and forgive. Forgive what? How can we forgive when you have not stated that you won't do it again? Your behavior would show me that if I get too humble, I am going to be ill-treated once more. So with what weapon we have, with whatever weapon we have to stand up and make it clear. And many of us did that outside of the British Commission, the British High Commission office on Tuesday, made it very clear that this ain't gonna be an easy road. For me personally, it's a continuation of the struggle, because when Elizabeth was here in 2012, I filed a lawsuit against her. I filed a lawsuit on behalf of the elders of the Nyabingi House of Rastafari, claiming reparations. The matter went through the court in Jamaica. And the Jamaican government represented the Queen of England against us. I personally went to King's House to serve the papers on her. And I know she got the papers. They didn't allow me to give it to her personally. They gave it to Ting. And he went upstairs and gave it to her. And then she passed it on to the Jamaican lawyers and the government representing them against us. The judge eventually kicked out the case on the basis that we, the claimants, have not proven that we were the one that was wronged during the era of enslavement. You can imagine such a stupid, backward judgment coming from a black judge, that we have not proven that we were the ones. You take my birth certificate, you take all of my roots, and then say, I am not the one. You know? So that was what happened. But what happened one day during the case, the government lawyer, who is a QC, meaning he's representing the Queen, he came to court and he said to the judge, Judge, this case is having adverse effect on the relationship between Jamaica and England. I felt so proud. I didn't know that little we could have an effect of the relationship between Jamaica and England. I felt good. And this is what the stupid judge did. A judge named Anderson. He started giving a decision against us. He hasn't heard any arguments, you know. All him here was that it's having an adverse effect. And he started giving a ruling. So even the government lawyers have to join with me to say, Judge, see, in light of where you have shown us where your mind is, you must recuse yourself. And even them had to join with me and said, yes, you must recuse yourself. Because it was so bad. It was embarrassing even for them. You see what I mean? And that judge is giving a decision before me, arguments from either side. Just to give you an idea, he was so anxious that when I said to them, the ancestors have spoken, that even the government lawyers have to say, it looked that way for truth. So brothers and sisters, this ain't no fight that I started just now. I have been in the trenches. I understand what this is all about. I am committed to this cause. And we want to get rid of the type of governments we have in Jamaica. Jamaica has no democracy. And anyone tell you that, tell them I say they're a liar. Every election, I am 69 years old. I celebrated my birthday on the same day I was demonstrating. I love that. You must celebrate your birthday doing what you love. So the 22nd of March is my birthday, and I was out on the battlefield battling for my race. And that's what I know the Honorable Marcus Garvey has taught us. So here we are in Jamaica, where every election that I have witnessed is a by-election. By means they go out with money and buy votes. And where they do not buy votes, they use guns and violence on the people to get votes. We have no true democracy in Jamaica. That is a blatant lie. And we want to get rid of the governments here and put in true people's government that can administer the country properly on behalf of the people. We will want a government that is going to invite anyone to celebrate 70 years of the murderous people on their throne. You're free to go and celebrate where you want on your throne. But a country with a population of 99% Black, it's disgraceful to have that type of celebration. But the type of persons who are prime ministers and cabinet ministers and members of parliament are such bowers. They bow to these people, and we're totally against them. So I'm sending it out there. I'm making it clear, my brothers and sisters understand that these prime minister and these opposition leaders and all these people are blatant sellouts. We have revived the People's Political Party. This is a party formed by the Honorable Marcus Garvey in 1929. We have revived that party, and we will be reorganizing. We have gotten a piece of land, so we are doing farming. We have our meetings. We are agitating. We have already people, everywhere I go, people ask me, if you get the reparations, it's going to be wasted. How are you going to manage it? We have appointed a council that will manage the reparations. We have people that we trust. When you ask me a question like that, you are fostering a distrustful position, which the white man put in your head, that you can't trust Black people. Of course we can. We have suffered so long living off nothing. Then you think 2 little pence is going to make us sell out our people? No. We have a council set up. My great brother and friend, Heru Aishaka Musa Menelik, we have appointed him chairman of that council. It has other brothers and sisters in it. So we will know how to administer or any reparations that come. Reparations don't just mean money. We want all our books, all the books that Napier, General Napier from England stole in 1868 from Magdala in Ethiopia. Those books must be returned. If Ethiopia don't want them, we will take them. We want all our artifacts, our Benin masks, all our carvings, our paintings that you have stolen, our great sculptural pieces. You claim we invented nothing. Then how the hell are you taking away our nothing? We want our children to see these things, that they will get dignity from it and realize the greatness of our race. You have them in your vaults. You have them underground. And as I say that, I must say hats off to Seymour McLean, that great brother who took some of those books, never stole them. He was merely taking back what is mine. You cannot be a thief if you take what is yours. In law, it is called a claim of right. That brother has now joined the ancestors, but we don't forget him. And he never went to court and denied. He said, I have a right to those books. That those are the spirit that is within us. So we want back all those artifacts, those drawings, those carvings that you have taken out of Africa. We want all of them. Let our Black children have them. Let them touch them. Let them see them. Let them see the Nook culture. Let them see the carvings, the stone carvings of Zimbabwe, the land of stone. Let our children have them and touch them and see them. Some of them are more than 10,000 years old. They are older than anything you have. So let our people see what we were doing when we were carving our gods. We were not a people that is a singularly one-minded people. We had many gods. We had the god of fertility who helped the mothers to have their babies. We have the god of farming. We have the god that deal with smelting of iron. We are proud of that. You come with your one God principle. Go back through that. You come with your God that never had a mother and a father and tell us foolishness about Mary didn't see a man and she have this immaculate conception. That is rubbish. A child can only come when a man and a woman cohabit according to the laws of the Creator. And therefore, these are things we are restoring to Africa and say, back with your things. We had many gods because that's how we live. We have the gods that help us with the laws. We have the gods that help us with the farming. We have the gods that help us with our structure, with our, as to how to live. So these are things that we are proud of as Africans. And you can stay with your thing. When the white man went to Africa and met Imhotep, he said he must be a god. Because how could one man be an advisor to the king, be a lecturer at university, be an agronomist, controlling the farming?
You've gone on mute, my brother. You're on mute. Yes.
In order to get different type of waters, to decide how we deal with the waters and so on. They built the pyramids, they were builders and all these things. So the white man just simply said, when you know so much, you must be a god. But we're not surprised because there's a great African proverb that says, the more you know, the easier it is for you to know more. What a beautiful saying.
Yes.
The more you know, the easier it is for you to know more. So my brothers and sisters, know that many of us here in Jamrock are freedom fighters, we are warriors, and we will never ever swap Africa for this little rock here.
Rise up.
Forward to the day when we must return to our mother and fathers.
Ashe.
Rastafari.
Rastafari. Thank you so much, Brother Miguel. That was such an informative presentation there from yourself. A powerful message. And let's hope that your message reaches the ears of the Queen's advisors so that she's absolutely clear about what the position is of the people in Jamaica, which, as you've rightly stated, is very different from the position of the government. And yeah, they ought to know now exactly what messages they need to be coming back with and what works they need to be doing in order to start putting right the wrongs of that really awful, evil past. Keep rising, my brother. We send you more strength, more energies, and we thank you for the great works that you're doing in reviving the People's Party, founded by Marcus Messiah Garvey himself as well. Stay strong, stay powerful. Thank you so much. Family, what a pleasure it has been to hear from our dear brother Miguel, all the way down there in Jamdown, Jamaica. So we've heard the position there on reparations. We've heard the position regarding the visit of Kate and William. And, you know, if the powers that be in the UK were unaware of what the protests were about in Jamaica, well, I think our brother has made it absolutely clear now for them. Thank you so much. Sister Shanice out of here for now. More love, more strength, more power. One love.